You're watching Chillyboy Productions. I'm Larry Chillyboy Chilson, and we are back for another Sports Talk live. And we are here to talk about everything that happened in week 3 of the NFL, plus any other random sports news as we see fit. And of course, we'll be looking forward to week 4, where we may have an inter-host rivalry taking place this weekend. So, of course, I am joined by my co-host for this live weekly series, Tyler Calvert. Hey, Tyler.
Hello. Good week. Another stressful week for my team, as you can imagine. Must be nice to actually have a nice, decisive win for once. Can't relate so far this season. Just nail biter after nail biter every week. So little on the edge as per usual.
Yeah. Well, this week, Leo is actually out watching a movie coming out this weekend, so he will not be joining us tonight, though he is submitting his picks so that he keeps up with us in the whole ranking of it all.
Like, literally, they literally came in as you were saying it.
But we are joined by a special guest, also a third party, unbiased third party in this weekend's picks, because obviously one game will have us divided with our hearts. But please welcome our special guest, Cody O'Toole. Hi, Cody.
Fellas, what's going on? Usually I'm behind the camera, but when it comes to sports, I got to come in front of the camera. And happy to join you guys talking some sports. And my team is 1-2 right now, the Patriots, and this week isn't looking great up ahead. But
that must feel weird after 20 years of supremacy.
Well, after last year, it's not feeling as weird. But lots to talk about. But excited to be here.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for joining us. Obviously, you have joined us as part of our chat here and just kind of talking nonsense with us before. So we're glad to have you on camera this time, Cody.
Appreciate it.
Well, of course, as I do before we get into the NFL, I know I was told to bury this at the end, but we start off with the non-NFL to just get it out the way real quick. We are in the thick of the chase in NASCAR, so it's got to be talked about. And Denny Hamlin wins in Las Vegas, the first race of the second round of the playoffs, which locks his spot into the round of 8. So this weekend they are headed to Talladega, and if you do know NASCAR at all, Talladega is one of the most unpredictable, insane tracks. If you've ever watched even the compilations of like worst NASCAR wrecks in history, Talladega will show up on there quite a bit because the madness happens.
I know the Will Ferrell movie.
I was just gonna...
Well, there you go. Also, movie fans, the name Talladega should ring a bell.
That's the only reason why I have any knowledge of what that's supposed to be. It's thanks to Will Ferrell.
Well, thank you, Will Ferrell. All right, so that was it for the NASCAR talk update. Soon we'll be at that championship, though, so be ready, y'all. Be ready. But now moving along to the NFL. What a crazy season this has been. I just got to say, it's been wild.
Well, it hasn't been as wild for your team as much as mine. But.
I mean, just across the board, when you look at these games, you're looking at these overtimes, these really close finishes, you're seeing all of these injuries that have been going down. It just, of course, we still have COVID protocols, so some people aren't playing because of that. It just has been wild.
Yeah.
This refereeing.
Yeah, the officiating has been bad for years, and it just seems like it's never going to get better.
Never. I mean, again.
Yeah. I feel like I'm seeing the same faces every week, too. Like, I don't think they've brought in any new refs to, change the game. And
I think it is such a long process to go from, I guess, regular person referee to an NFL referee. So they just kind of keep the same people forever.
True.
Well, this weekend, of course, speaking on our games, we'll lead off with probably the biggest news of the entire weekend. Actually, did come from Tyler's team.
Jesus.
Kicker Justin Tucker made
Wow.
NFL history with a 66-yard field goal
Woo!
last second to win the game against the Detroit Lions.
Hell yeah! I was on the edge of my seat.
What a kick, though. What a kick.
Insanity.
And
Like
he
the
had
fact that-
missed earlier in the game too. From what?
30,
mid-30s,
I think.
Missed a pretty easy one, especially for Justin Tucker. So I was like,
Well,
oh,
I had the faith because he had kicked 61 in that stadium before many years ago. So I figured, well, he has the leg. I didn't know about 66, like we're talking full-on record territory here, but I know he had at least 60. So as long as we got in the 60-ish, 50 range, we would have been okay. But 66 was a little bit nerve-wracking, especially as it hit the middle crossbar and then went in instead of out. Because I thought maybe it was going to hit and then go out.
Yeah.
Or it would have been like Matt Prater's situation, your fellow kicker, where it goes under and then someone returns it for a touchdown.
Yeah, well, there
Like
you
the
go.
Jaguars did.
Yeah, that Jaguars, that Agnew guy, that's back-to-back returns between the Broncos game and the Cardinals this past week.
Well, maybe we'll have you on. Cody is actually our first ever guest here. I believe this is Ricky typing from the Music City Drive-In.
Ricky, if I can make it, you can make it.
Right. Everyone's allowed as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Frankly, to be honest, Cody, I didn't know you were going to even be on until I jumped on this thing.
Oh.
Larry has a problem with telling me who's the guests for anything I've
Tyler
ever
just
on.
clicks the link and sees someone new.
I'm just here for the ride, it's a mystery whenever I pop on. I don't control the guests. It's not my channel. So
But, yeah, it worked perfect. It worked perfect though, because we didn't know Leo wasn't going to be here tonight until earlier today. And so Cody was going to be a fourth on our panel, and it just
I
looks
didn't even
great
know that. So
that Leo was not coming on. So
But about the Justin Tucker kick real quick. I think I saw after he made the kick that he was kicking like 60-yarders in pregame, just like nailing them. So like I knew, like I was watching it on Red Zone. I'm like, he's gonna make this kick. Like he's the best kicker in the league. Like he's gonna make this kick. And then it's funny that like earlier, I forgot who played the Jaguars last week.
This past week, the Cardinals.
Right. And it's funny that they attempted to go for the longest kick and field goal.
68.
And it turns back into a touchdown.
Well, Prater didn't have that mile-high air behind his kicks this time around. So
well, Tucker's about to have that mile-high air behind him.
Well, that's what I mean.
So we'll see. Maybe.
He's going to be kicking like a 90-yard field goal this week with that mile-high air.
Now, Tyler, we talked about this a little bit. There was controversy. Several, especially Lions fans,
the delay of game
said that there was a missed delay of game, so he should not have even been able to kick such a field goal from 66 yards.
Well, I think that goes hand in hand when it comes to the poor officiating across the board. I'm not going to say whether or not I agree or disagree because I don't really know, because they say it all the time when you're watching, but they don't really enforce it all that much. But like the lines and all the clocks you see on screen on television, they're not always 100% accurate. So you kind of have to, wing it in a sense, because the first down line sometimes a little bit wrong. The play clocks are a little bit sped up. So I don't know the logistics if it was actually a delay of game or if it was just delay game on the TV, because we've seen the clocks and the people that control that stuff on CBS, Fox, and all that, they mess up a lot. So that's how I'm not sure. If I was there, I could have better, I guess, firsthand experience if the clocks were accurate. But, give or take a second or two, it sucks if that was. I know if I would be upset if that was the case, if I was, the hands were reversed and the Lions kicked a 66-yard field goal and won the game. But at the same time, like, a 66-yard field goal is insane. Like, the fact that he even kicked it and made it is a miracle. So I think you're just not meant to win if they have to kick a 66-yard record-breaking field goal.
And I feel like if you're from Detroit, you should kind of know you're not meant to win by now.
They have not had a good season so far this year.
Is it not your franchise's MO to just not be meant to win? Because I feel like that's the slogan of the Detroit Lions, not meant to win.
No.
It's pretty
It
fair.
sucks for them.
Especially seeing Matthew Stafford putting up, MVP numbers and MVP performances.
He was someone I thought. I mean, I always thought he was a good quarterback on a bad team, and like he was there for so long, like through their good years too, because they did have good years back when they had Megatron and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But now that he doesn't have that kind of support system around him, he's kind of just stuck on this team. So I'm glad that he's doing so well in LA.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's a former number 1 overall pick. I think a lot of people forget that.
Yeah.
And I think when he was in Detroit, even like the most recent years, he had Kenny Golladay, he had Marvin Jones. Like those are like solid names, but now you give him like Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp and like an actual like defense that'll help him and like give him like good field position and stuff. Yeah, he's killing it in LA, and
that's why I feel bad for the Lions, because Jared Goff went from having all of these amazing weapons on the Rams to having random people I've never heard of before on the receiving core for the Lions. I mean, they have Hawkinson. I like Hawkinson, but other than him, and DeAndre Swift's okay too, but he's still very young. So other than they need receivers, like that's like their big thing. They don't really have a number 1 or a number 2 that are like top 15 in the league. They need some sort of support system for him out there. And also just the fact you have to compete with so many great offenses in their division. So it's going to be tough.
So Cody, what does this Javier message mean?
So Network 98, great person, loves to come around and support Ryan and you, and he's all around. But he loves to troll me because he's a character in a video game that I'm not a big fan of. I don't know if you've played the Telltale Walking Dead games. But,
it's been a while, but yeah.
Yeah, but he's in season 3, Javier, and to this day he still pisses me off. And Network loves to remind me of that. So
okay, I see.
Nice.
Perfect.
Even when I go to other people's channels, he still follows me.
The troll that never leaves you, Cody.
Good to see you now.
Well, we played a rookie quarterback this year. Obviously, your quarterback is a rookie quarterback. And they struggled this weekend mightily across the board. Those youngsters, they really weren't able to overcome in week 3. So we had David Mills in Houston making his first career start.
Yeah, that was a bad one. Poor Davis Mills. He was getting murdered out there. I mean, up until the Bears game, like he was the one who was like running for his life this whole week.
Oh man, I mean, you feel for the guy. It's the first ever start, but wow, they're gonna be struggling under him.
Houston,
they gotta keep him around. Justin Fields, Tyler has been a champion for Justin.
I still am, but that was a horrible situation to throw him to. Like that is throwing him to the wolves. Like having him just have to go out there with a horrible offensive line and try and just survive against Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney.
9 sacks.
Yeah, Garrett had about half of them.
I mean, that Justin, he had 68 yards.
Matt Nagy should be fired.
Yeah, I agree. He's been really bad. I mean, he just can't manage the quarterbacks. Like he's tried, I guess, but like just bad decisions between him and Mitch Trubisky. Like,
wow,
they're just bad decisions.
Talk about an elite defensive performance as well. I mean, Chicago couldn't move. Like Chicago, literally. I mean, they.
No, Allen Robinson couldn't even get anything going.
Horrible trying to watch that Chicago offense just stand there on the field, basically.
Khalil Mack left the game, too. So it's just
that didn't help.
A lot of stuff going on there. And Matt Nagy should be gone. And now this week going into it, they're like, oh, we don't know who the starter is going to be. It could be Nick.
That's one of those things that's been bothering me because it's like you have 3 quarterbacks potentially that could play, all of them to like middling, I guess, returns. Because, I mean, it's Andy Dalton, Nick Foles. I mean, I like Nick Foles, but I don't think he's going to manage much better in that offense. We haven't seen him really in the offense either. And then, it's Justin Fields, who you just threw out there to get murdered. Andy Dalton injured, but so he may come back. So it's like a whole roster of mediocre quarterbacks. That's why I figured maybe they would try and bring in Cam Newton just to spice things up. But I guess honestly sometimes I forget they even have Nick Foles. The fact that he's just on the roster, just taking up a roster spot because he just has so much money attached to him.
Yeah. So Tyler, you have a question about your activities of last night. If you saw No Time to Die.
Oh no, I have not seen it yet. Unfortunately, I was one of the few that didn't see it. I have seen Venom 2, but that's like the one release I guess I've seen in the I guess out of the ones, because I could have saw the Many Saints of Newark, but I never watched The Sopranos, so I would have been very confused. Even if it's a prequel, it's like I don't have that attachment to The Sopranos, so I don't. There's no point in me going to see it if I have no attachment to the show, you know. But I am hoping that, I mean, I've heard a lot of great things about No Time to Die. I'm excited to actually go finally do see it, hopefully in the very near future.
Well, then we move over to New England. Mac Jones, he's had some really strong start to the season, I would say. And unfortunately, week 3 was not.
I would say he's the most solid of the rookie QBs right now. Like, he's not making as many mistakes as the Trevor Lawrence or the Zach Wilsons, or just getting thrown to the wolves like Justin Fields and Davis Mills.
Right.
I mean,
I think Mac is doing what he needs to do. I think they're playing it safe with him, and they're, throwing him a lot of checkdowns and just finding the open guy and just doing very simple things with him. And I think it's worked out so far. Obviously, we're 1-2, but I think I would agree with Tyler. He's looked the most consistent out of the rookies.
Yeah, this week, the New Orleans defense, I guess, had something to prove. They were mad, I guess. They got those 3 interceptions off of him. He did still get a touchdown, though. But yeah, I mean, we've been talking about it behind the scenes. Is there a more hot and cold quarterback, a more hot and cold team than Winston and the Saints? I mean, 1 week they're getting literally obliterated. The next week they look like they're ready for the Super Bowl. What's going on in New Orleans right now?
Yeah, I mean, he's thrown for what? Isn't it close to 5,000 yards one year, Jameis Winston, or something like that? So we know he can throw the ball. It's you know what I think it is? I think we underestimated the Saints. I think we really did. I think it was a game we needed to win, especially going into this week. And unfortunately, the defense came to play. You got to give it to them. The Saints came to play, and the offense did what they needed to.
Yeah, and then we see Tyler's other fave rookie QB, Trevor Lawrence, down in Jacksonville.
I mean, I like him I liked him in college, and that's like Jacksonville. It was. I mean, nobody wants to go to Jacksonville. Let's be real, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
When you're the first overall pick, you gotta go with the bad team to pick. Yeah. But he struggled this week as well. He's getting used to losing real quick in Jacksonville, to something he wasn't accustomed to before. But 219 yards, 1 TD, and 2 interceptions this week. And then finally, Zach Wilson on the Jets came to Denver. Obviously, 0 touchdowns. He threw 2 interceptions and 160 yards. So
I hate to say it, but I definitely think for right now he is the worst of the QBs that are rookies starting right now.
Yeah, it was not pretty. Obviously, we played Trevor Jackson as well. He at least fared better than Zach Wilson did against our defense, because it was kind of brutal to watch at times. Yeah. That poor kid. He wasn't running as much for his life as Justin Fields was, but we got many sacks on him, and his offensive line could not. That Jets line is not equipped to hold us, and a lot of teams, I think.
Oh boy.
Oh, I think
I would say though, I think looking at the Jacksonville situation and the Jets situation, I go back and forth as to who has more of a worse situation. And I'm leaning towards Zach having more of a worse situation. Like we've mentioned, the offensive line isn't the greatest. He doesn't really have a veteran quarterback behind him to give him any guidance or anything like that. So he's just gunslinging, throwing the ball like crazy out there, and hasn't really learned from his mistakes too much, I feel like. Still early in the season, but still he has not looked great.
Yeah, so I certainly feel bad for the some of these kids, I mean, they're
Yeah.
not coming into the best of situations,
Definitely not.
large. And yeah, when you
Mm.
get drafted to the Jets or you get drafted to Jacksonville right now, you just got to deal with what you got.
Exactly.
The best of it. Well, we're talking about him. Overall, our QBR leader is now Matthew Stafford, who has just been killing it over
For sure.
in
Unstoppable.
LA. I mean, he looked amazing this week. Your other fave, Cody, and Tom Brady. I know he's not
Yeah.
on your team anymore,
Mm.
but
Oh yeah.
their defense certainly didn't have the answer for him this week. But that Rams defense did have quite a few answers for Brady and that Buccaneers offense this week. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
They
But-
were, pressuring him a lot. Like you don't really see Brady get hit like that. So
Nope.
so much, especially at his age. So the fact Aaron Darnold was just able to just cause so much pressure was crazy.
I had the Rams winning this game. Actually.
Me too.
Yeah. So
I was the lone.
Yeah.
I was like the loner who picked Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
But then we have Teddy Bridgewater still in the top 3 for QBR so far, which I'm very happy to see.
he's playing very well. Playing very
0
well.
interceptions
Yeah.
still to this point, which we all know that is kind of his forte. Even when he's not playing great, he's not loose with the ball. He's not going to have a lot of interceptions regardless. But 827 yards so far in the season is a solid number. 4 touchdowns through 3 weeks. He's not lighting up the boards, but he is doing what he's got to do. And
3-0. You're 3-0.
our receiving core is starting to get a little bit thin. So
Running out of people, Larry.
It's going to get harder. Sutton, I want you at home, laying in bed when you are not on that field. Do you hear me? No chance.
It's him and Patrick, I guess.
Lord. But looking at, we just talked about Mac Jones currently with 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions on the season. And then Lamar Jackson currently sitting at a 53.1 QBR, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and 761 in terms of yardage.
Are you going to talk about the rushing yards, though?
I'll just say, we'll get to these rushing yards because
Don't forget those.
Lamar Jackson is 4th in the entire league in rushing right now.
There you go.
A quarterback is 4th in the league.
Dual threat, baby.
He has 251 rushing yards so far this season. So like,
Dual threat. You can't be stopped.
that's
So,
nuts.
If I heard you correctly, all 3 of our quarterbacks are in the top 5? for
No,
QBR?
Sorry, I
Oh.
jumped down after
okay.
that first one.
Got
Not
me
quite.
excited for a second.
Unfortunately for Lamar Jackson, they don't really put those rushing yards as well into that QBR rating, so it doesn't help.
Well, I mean, as far as I can give at least some flack of when it comes to his QBR and the fact that he keeps throwing to Hollywood Brown and he keeps dropping the damn ball.
Well, other than
Oh,
JT,
man.
Justin Tucker, good old Hollywood Brown was the other big story from that Ravens game.
Several drop touchdowns.
It should not have been as close as it was because the Ravens should have been pretty far ahead if Brown had.
Sammy Watkins had a great game, though. Yeah.
Yeah. But looking at this, passing yards, we have 3 quarterbacks now over 1,000 yards so far. Derek Carr, Tom Brady, and Kyler Murray are the top 3 in just pure passing yardage this season.
It's so weird to think that Derek Carr is leading in passing yards. Like at this point in the season, like I would have never guessed Derek Carr was going to be leading the league in passing yards going into a quarter of the season.
Yeah, these other ones. Matthew Stafford's 5th, and then we have Justin Herbert at 4th. And again, I mean, Lobby's just killing it there too with the Chargers. He is flinging that ball around.
Well, I mean,
he's my fantasy QB. Keep flinging it, Herbert.
All 3 Chargers fans, I'm sure, are hyped for Justin Herbert going off.
Yeah, we have 2 AFC West quarterbacks in the top 5 for passing, and neither one of them are Patrick Mahomes. So who would have
It's
thought?
still early.
It's still early. He obviously can do the comebacks, but
He almost did this week.
That defense is going to have to hold up a little bit better in important spots for the Chiefs moving forward. But
weird to see them at the bottom of the standings, though.
Yes,
really.
I saw the statistics. I saw it through ESPN. It had been like since 2015 that they've been last in the division. Like that's how long it's been since they've been the last place in the West. 6 years or so.
Personally, I love to see it.
Right.
Give me
Yeah.
more. Unfortunately, if they lose this coming week, I will be absolutely stunned. So
Me
this,
too.
this will be a
You and
stunner.
me both.
But so rushing yards, Derrick Henry leading the league from Tennessee. Joe Mixon, Nick Chubb, as I said, Lamar Jackson,
Yeah.
and David Montgomery are top 5 currently. So Chicago still has a top rusher, though they can't really. When they come up against a tough defense, they can't move,
They're trying
no
their
matter who
best.
the quarterback is. Receiving Cooper Cup,
killing
Debo
it.
Samuel,
Yeah.
Brandon Cooks, Devontae Adams is still out there, but we'll see.
It's all Green Bay's got.
Devontae, yeah. And then Tyler Lockett from Seattle up there as well. So then the only one in which Denver is actually in the top 5, sacks. We have Myles Garrett, number 1, Chandler Jones. Then we have Hassan Reddick, Von Miller, number 4 right now with his 4 sacks on the season, and Robert Quinn. Oh, it just makes me wish Chubb was in there even more. Those
Well,
sack
Chandler
counts would even
Jones
get
is number
bigger.
2 still, even though he hasn't had a sack since that insane first week where he had 5, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, he had 5 and hasn't sacked since.
People have caught up to him already.
Yeah. Myles Garrett's the only one who's been able to pass up that 5 number so far.
By going out there and murdering Fields this past week.
Oh my god. So yeah, it's looking pretty interesting. And when it comes down to like overall defenses for the total defense numbers, Panthers sitting at number 1 right now with the top defense. Denver Broncos 2, the Browns 3, the Bills 4, and the Patriots at number 5. So there you go.
Yeah, Patriots
Probably not after this week, but
yeah, we'll see. And now we're looking at these damn injuries. The next big thing. Tyler and I both have seen quite a bit so far this season already. It's a young season. The Ravens and the Broncos can't seem to stay healthy already.
Hey, you're preaching to the choir here, Larry.
It sucked. I thought maybe we'd stay healthy this year because last year that was also kind of our thing, is tons of injuries early in the season. But this week, KJ Hamler going down, torn ACL, out for the rest of the season.
The Broncos love hurting their legs, I guess, the wide receivers.
And then hopefully we still haven't gotten too much more word on Judy on what's going to happen there, and same thing with Chubb. So we'll see. McCaffrey, though, is expected to miss at least one more game over there in Carolina.
That's big.
T.Y. Hilton, not expected to come back either this week.
What happened to him? What happened to T.Y.?
He's always injured.
I know.
Andy Dalton, will he be back? And will the Bengals be better for it if he's I mean, not the Bengals, the Bears, will they be better for it if he comes back? That's the question.
Who
Tyler
knows,
says
man?
no.
Yeah.
Tyler says they're worse off with
I don't think so.
and poor little Andy Dalton. But
I think so.
what are the big? Have y'all been staying pretty healthy over there in New England, or what's been going on?
We lost James White this past week.
He just had the hip injury.
Yeah, season-ending injury, which is unfortunate. He's been playing really well this year, and Mac's been throwing to him a lot, and he's just been a good veteran for him in the huddle. So that's a big loss for us, especially after we just traded Sony Michel to the Rams. So that's yeah, that's going to be tough for us, but we still got Damian Harris. So, yeah.
Well, looking forward to next week, we can talk about these picks that we'll be having going on here. So we'll have a little 4 grid. We're going to be adding our boy Cody here onto our little grid.
Dream come true.
Oh boy.
So tomorrow night we have Jacksonville headed to Cincinnati. Cody, who do you got on that one?
I have all my picks rolled. Sorry. Okay. This is an easy one for me. Definitely going with the Bengals on this one for sure.
All right, Tyler.
Yeah, I feel like it has to be the Bengals. Like, I'm sorry, Trevor Lawrence. The losing continues, but yeah, I think the Bengals are just a much better team on offense and defense.
Have a day, Joe Mixon.
Oh, yeah, I'm also gonna have to pick the Bengals. I mean, until the Jaguars show me something, I can't pick them moving forward. And the Bengals, they looked definitely really solid last week against the Steelers, though. We talk about it every time. Big Ben, please, it's time to go. Like,
Just go off
he
into
just
the sunset.
he just got that damn like new
Yeah.
deal, got that new re-signing. No, Big Ben, listen, it is time for you to retire. But
Yeah.
saying that, the Bengals did look pretty good against them.
Big Ben did look very old.
Whew.
I mean, he has been for
you
years.
saw that
but
athleticism.
he fell in that play, yeah.
Ooh, that was horrible. And then we have Washington at Atlanta. So in probably the most boring game, I don't know, Chicago Cleveland was a little bit boring, but last week we saw the Giants lose to Atlanta in very boring fashion. I mean, that game was a dud. Like
that
dud.
was definitely my pick for like the snooze fest of the week, and it was.
But Atlanta, they got on the board. They got their first win. Washington also does have a win on the season. So, Tyler, who do you got this week?
Yeah, well, like, you know how I'm still a little angry about that too. But I feel like I have to go with Washington here. Like, I feel like Atlanta, it just isn't a good team all around. Not that I'm saying Washington's a much better team all around. I feel like that's just going to be a very, boring game as well. But I'm having a little bit more faith in Taylor Heineke this week. They'll be able to pull off at least a little bit of points. I think they'll have a fire lit under them after they got the crap beaten out of them by the Bills. So let's hope at least.
All right, Cody.
Yeah, I'm also going with Washington on this one. I think offensively the Falcons are still trying to figure things out, and their defense in the secondary is just yikes.
Yeah,
so
the secondary's bad.
I think with Washington's defense going in there, they'll get the job done. And Heineke's looked pretty good. Not too bad this year. So I'll take Washington.
I'm also going to go with Washington. Hopefully we don't see a replay of last week where we all pick the NFC East teams and then, Atlanta wins and it's snoozer.
Well, the one win Washington has, they let me, I got let down by the Giants. So.
Right. Yeah, we've already seen the Washington football team able to overcome the Giants, and the Giants not able to overcome. So maybe they'll overcome Atlanta this week. That team, I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
Do you have Leo too, or
Leo? Let's see.
I'm just curious.
Yeah. So when it comes to our dear friend Leo, he had the Bengals, and then he has Washington. So he is also on our same side here. So yeah.
Well, that's good.
Well, then we have Houston at Buffalo. I'll start us off on this one. I am picking Buffalo. They have looked very good since that
Davis
week
Mills
one.
It's not looking too good for you this week.
Yeah, so an easy pick for Buffalo. Cody?
Right there with you, going Buffalo. I would be scared if I was Davis Mills right now.
And Tyler?
Yeah, Davis Mills is going to have to stick his neck out there if he wants to win.
That long neck, listen. Those pictures, they look a little bit doctored, but that neck...
I'm going to go with the
get his
Bills,
head
though.
knocked off this week. I mean, we got to put a brace on that thing. Yeah. All right, Detroit at Chicago. This one might be a little bit more.
Well, that's the one I'm confused by when it comes to picking, because there's a 33 and a third chance of 3 people starting for the Bears this week.
Yeah, Cody, what's your insight when it comes to Detroit at Chicago?
0-3 Lions, 1-3 Bears. Man, you know what? Surprisingly, I'm going to take the Lions. And I think I'm going to take the Lions because of the question marks at quarterback for the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why I'm going to. And I hope Matt Nagy gets fired after this game.
I mean, I feel like it's inevitable he'll get fired by the end of the year at the very least.
Lord.
I'm not happy with choosing the Lions, but I'm going to choose them.
Tyler, do you agree? You saw the Lions firsthand last week?
Well, yeah, but it's tough because like I want to pick the Bears because I do like Justin Fields, but I have no clue if he's going to play.
Right.
It's one of those things where it's like Justin Fields could play. He could go out there and maybe have a better shot with the Lions than he would having going out there getting murdered by the Browns. But Andy Dalton's injured, so if he comes back, he won't be 100%. Even when he is 100%, he's not great. Nick Foles is just the big question mark. You never know because he hasn't played in so long. I mean, I feel like I have to go with the Lions, at least right now, because there's just too much uncertainty in Chicago. So I guess I have to go with the Lions.
I'm also going to go with the Lions for some of the reasons. I picked Chicago last week and they burned me bad. So I'm not picking Chicago again this week, first of all, from that.
I figured you'd have a grudge.
Yeah, I mean, the Lions defense is not the Browns defense, thankfully, for Chicago. So they'll be able to move this week. But we don't know who they're moving with. So
right. There could be a completely different offense.
Right.
When you have 3 different quarterbacks heading into the weekend and we don't know who started, I mean, no, that spells hot mess to me. So I can't pick that team. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have to agree. Yeah.
All right. Well, then we have Carolina at Dallas. Carolina, one of the remaining 3-0 teams, but like the Broncos, many are pointing at their competition and asking questions. So, do we think that Carolina will be able to stand up against Dallas, Tyler, or do the Cowboys get another win?
Well, the Panthers don't have Christian McCaffrey. And they definitely struggled in that Thursday night game after he left with that hamstring injury. And the Cowboys look pretty great. I mean, they've had a great showing on offense, especially now that they have like the two-headed monster at running back now with Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. And they just have so many weapons on offense. I mean, it's hard to not pick them. I feel like I have to go with the Cowboys here. Even if the Panthers are going to be good, I just feel like they're going to be really hampered on that as far as offense goes without Christian McCaffrey, because that offense really does a lot of the moves, mostly runs through him. Ironically, no pun intended.
Okay, Cody.
Yeah, right there with Tyler. I'm going to go with the Cowboys. No Christian McCaffrey this week. They just lost their top draft pick, I think, J.C. Horn.
Yeah, he broke his foot.
Season-ending injury, so not looking too good there for the Panthers. Going to take the Cowboys easily here.
Well, I'm sorry it's so boring so far because we're sticking to schedule. I'm also picking the Cowboys pretty much because of Christian McCaffrey. It would have been a much more difficult decision if he were playing this Sunday, but since he's out, I just don't think they're going to have the firepower. And the Cowboys have looked really tough, even in some close wins, close losses. I mean, they've played everyone really tough this season.
Sam Darnold's been a big surprise though in Carolina. He's actually done pretty well. I mean, you've seen him a lot more, Cody, with him being in your division for so many years. You know, terrorizing him, making him see ghosts. Now he's a much better quarterback over in Carolina, at least for now.
He had to get rid of Adam Gase. And he's
he was. Right now, so. Well, you both relate to Adam Gase.
I was gonna say I know a lot about Adam Gase too. Here we had him for some time. All right, this next one should be an interesting game. We have Indianapolis at Miami. Both teams, I think, have shown some strength. Both have also shown some big weaknesses throughout the season. Cody, who do you pick in this one?
So this might be a little biased as the Dolphins are in my division, but I'm going to go with the Colts. And the reason why I'm going to go with the Colts is because no Tua still. He's still out. Jacoby, I think, is one of the better backups in the league, though. I think he's decent. And he is going up against his former team, so that might be a little bit of you might want to, play well. But I'm going to go with the Colts for this sheer sense that Jonathan Taylor needs to get in the end zone because he's on my fantasy team.
Priorities.
Right,
I mean, Tyler? Yeah, the Colts. Colts and who again? I'm sorry.
The Dolphins. They're in Miami.
Yeah, I mean the Dolphins. I mean they were a couple plays away from winning that Raiders game. They came back. They had to go all the way down to the overtime in the Las Vegas game.
It's been nuts. They talk about a crazy season too. See, the Dolphins pull out that crazy win against New England week 1, and then the week 2 a total dud, look like one of the worst in the whole NFL. And then
Poorly,
last week they played the Raiders really, really tough
Mm.
and show a lot of
Yeah.
grit. So who knows with these damn Dolphins?
But yeah, like what Cody said, I feel like I have to go with the Colts just because I think that they are a better team. I think it'll be a close game, but I think the Colts probably win this one. Even with Carson Wentz having 2 messed up ankles.
Well, that didn't slow him down too much. He was doing well. The
They were
Colts also-
okay. Yeah.
they were
Yeah.
in that game for some time before it finally started slipping away from them against a very tough team. I'm also picking the Colts, so not really a bias, Cody, because we all agree
no.
with you on this one. I just think overall they're a more solid team. Obviously, quarterback situation is the only question mark with that injury and such, but I think they pull it out.
It's a must-win for them if they're
Yeah,
on.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, they have to win this week. So
Yeah.
then we have another quite interesting game. We have the Cleveland Browns at the Minnesota Vikings.
Hmm.
So I doubted the Browns last week. I wasn't sure with injuries. I should know. Baker Mayfield was not. I mean, he's kind of like a little baby Ben. I don't know. You have to like literally knock his head off to keep him off that damn field.
Odell Beckham came back, so that was a nice
He did.
change pace.
Yeah. So it's I don't know. I'm gonna go. Like I said, I have a soft spot, and they've been so good all season, even when they lose. So I'm gonna go Vikings. I'm gonna stick it with the home team. I'm gonna doubt the Browns yet again, but Cody,
Give me the Browns. Myles
Okay.
Garrett leading the league in sacks. I think that'll help them a lot for sure. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, dynamic duo right there. They've been playing really well. And I think Baker doesn't have to do as much because he has those 2 guys. So, yeah, I think with Myles Garrett and I think Minnesota's got a great offense. Don't get me wrong. Kirk Cousins is playing pretty well this year. I'll give it to him. But I'm going to take the Browns.
Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, I doubted the Vikings last week, and it got me the loss because I picked the Seahawks to beat them. But, I mean, the offense has been pretty strong. I mean, Dalvin Cook is apparently, practicing again, so he may come back. That may be a big indicator of their offense getting even better. Kirk Cousins has been one of those quarterbacks that is just so weird to me because he's supposed to be in the upper echelon, and he does put up good stats because he's always had a good support team around him. But he's never been great in the clutch. I feel like that's just one of the big gripes with him because he's good, but when it counts, you never really know what you're going to get with him. When it comes to teams with a winning record, that's like his big crutch is he's not very good when it comes to winning against the good teams. I mean, I guess I feel bad, but I feel like I kind of have to go against the Vikings again. Like, I mean, if the Vikings scorn me once again and I lose this game by picking the Browns, I guess maybe I'll have to pick the Vikings in the third time's to try.
So hi Christian, chirping as soon as we're done with our picks. I promise we will move to those, even though I don't know how much insight any of the 3 of us are going to have on those 2 sports.
About which sports?
But after we're done with our picks, we will open the floor a little bit. So all right, then we have the New York Giants at the New Orleans Saints.
I mean, I like what what Saints are going to show up this week.
Now, if the Saints blow this one,
0-3 Giants.
I don't know what I'll do, honestly. If the Saints,
that's what I mean. Like, as far as me, I guess I'll go first just because I'm so angry at the Saints.
You just jumped right in.
Jameis Winston, I mean, I've known since the beginning as a Florida State fan that he has just always been inconsistent. You don't know what Jameis Winston you're going to get. You're going to either get the potential bust Jameis Winston where he's throwing all these interceptions, fumbling the ball, or you're going to get like MVP Heisman caliber Jameis Winston who will just go out there and play lights out football. And just seems like he just roll the dice. 1 week he'll be that week, and 1 week he'll be the other. They scorned me last week when I picked them, but the Giants also scorned me as well. I feel like the Giants always will find a way to lose. no matter what the circumstance calls for. So I feel like I have to pick the Saints this time. And if they lose this one, I'm going to be very angry again this week.
Lord, yeah. I mean, I have to pick the Saints as well. It's going against my pattern because I was about to be like every other week I'll pick the Saints because they'll be up and down, but I just can't see it. If they lose, like I said, if they lose to the Giants this weekend, then I really have no idea who the hell this team is.
That's what I mean. They're just weirdly unpredictable.
I think they'll find a way. They're at home in Louisiana, so I'm going with the Saints. Cody?
Yeah, I feel so bad for Saquon Barkley. I feel so bad for the situation he's in. But the Saints, I underestimated their defense last week. I'm not going to this week. I'm going to take the Saints. I think they'll be on a high from last week and go in there and take care of business.
I hope so. Otherwise, I'm going to never know. Right. I'm going to be upset. Like the Saints going to go and beat these great teams and then lose to the 0-3 Giants. I mean,
that'll be... Yeah. All right, well, now I think we have a little bit easier of a choice. We have the Tennessee Titans at the New York Jets.
Well,
Titans.
Yeah,
Titans,
the Jets have not shown that they're a competent team at this point. So I feel like Zach Wilson's going to just have another bad week, unfortunately.
Yeah. Cody?
Even though Corey Davis is playing his former team in the Titans, I'm still taking the Titans.
It looks really good so far this season, too. The Titans have performed well, and the Jets have not at all. So
Derrick Henry is about to put up at least 150 rushing yards on the Jets.
Well, we'll see. Can Mahomes get a victory since week 1? His first victory since that first week. Kansas City visits the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, if they lose this one, I think we start ringing the alarm bells.
Well, that's the thing with the Chiefs is like, yes, their record is 1-2, but they could have very easily been 3-0 if a couple other plays had went their way between last week against the Chargers and against the Ravens. So I think you have to pick the Chiefs. I mean, I think that the Eagles are slowly trying to get their pieces together to figure stuff out because even if it was in garbage time, they did eventually get some offense out of their team against the Cowboys a couple days ago. But I think the Chiefs are just too powerful. I mean, their defense isn't the greatest right now, but you can't count out Mahomes. I mean, Mahomes had them in that game despite all of the turnovers last week.
Cody, are you going to go for an upset pick, or do you think the Chiefs finally get back on the board?
Well, before I make my pick, I'm glad Andy Reid came out of the hospital.
Okay. Right. That was a surprise to me, too, hearing about that.
Yeah,
very scary
that was scary, but I'm glad he's all right. I'm definitely going with the Chiefs on this one. I think because the Chiefs' defense hasn't been that great, I think they're lucky they're getting Jalen Hurts this week, who, I don't know, he's looked... So I think they'll catch a little bit of a break this week, and Chiefs will take care of business.
Well, you know what you have to pick, Larry. Apparently, they will unsubscribe if you don't.
Well, thankfully, I was planning on picking the Chiefs, so we are safe. I mean, it's been a tough, very close road. I mean, come on. They've lost their last couple of games by nothing almost. And like Tyler said, easily could be sitting at 3-0 right now. The Ravens obviously have a ton of grit and a ton of fight in them. And
yeah, we do.
The Chargers are turning out to be a much better team than I think a lot of people had predicted early on. So it's not like they've lost to chums either. And unfortunately, the Eagles are still in that chum territory. So
they're definitely in the middle. I think they're middle of the road.
They're working up, especially when you look at the rest of their division. I think the Eagles can work their way at least into something okay, but I don't think they lose 3 in a row. Like I said, if they find a way to lose against the Eagles on Sunday, then we can start ringing those panic bells. Yeah. Then we can really look at the Chiefs and wonder what's happened to them this year. Right now, 2 losses, not that big a deal. All right. Then we have a nice interdivisional battle. We have the Arizona Cardinals at the LA Rams.
Great matchup.
Yeah, Cody. I think that's my pick for game of the week.
Yeah.
It's hard. This is a hard one. The Rams just beat the Tampa Bay Bucks, so they're going to be feeling really good going into that game. But the Cardinals have been playing really well this year. They've been playing really, really well. Is it at home? The Rams at home?
The Rams
Yes.
are at home.
I'm going to give them that edge. SoFi Stadium has been pretty loud.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take the Rams. It'll be a close game, but I'm gonna take the Rams.
Only when the Rams are there, though. When the Chargers are there, suddenly
Yeah.
it's crickets in the
Yeah,
stadium.
exactly.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
Big close game,
Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Rams. I mean, I think it's gonna be a great game, but I think the Rams do have the edge. They have a great defense, and they just have so many weapons. And I think they're gonna be able to, with all their weapons, when it comes to the defense, they're gonna be able to actually apply a lot of pressure on Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury have never defeated the Rams, so that's another thing, that they've never beaten the Rams, at least so far. So I mean, if they did win, it would be their first ever time. So I guess I give flashbacks to the fact that up until a couple weeks ago, we had never defeated Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. So sometimes that stuff does happen. Sometimes you get lucky. But I think the Rams are just better right now. I think with the home field advantage, the weapons, I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be a shootout, but I think by the end, I think the Rams will come out on top in their home stadium.
Yeah, I doubted the Rams last week. I thought Tampa Bay might be able to do it. So I'm not going to do that again. I do think Arizona is a great team. Obviously, Kyler is having a great year, as we mentioned earlier. So far, we kind of thought he would. And I just don't know that it'll be quite enough to overcome that amazing offense heading out of LA. I think they have a strong enough defense to keep them in check, and they're going to win. So there we go. Rams moving along.
Woo!
Then we have Seattle at San Francisco.
That's a good one too.
Tyler.
I mean, San Francisco. I mean, I'm glad I picked against them a couple days ago, because they were a couple plays away from being the winner there against the Green Bay Packers, but they left too much time on the clock for Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I'm upset because Seahawks let me down last week. I think it'll be a great divisional matchup, but I think the 49ers have the edge here, especially because it's in their stadium, and they have the weapons. I mean, it's tough though, because Seattle's coming off of that heartbreaking loss. Maybe they want to rectify it real fast, but I think that'll be another close game, but I could see the 49ers ended up coming out on top.
All right, Cody.
This is a tough one. I agree. But I'm going to go on the other end. I'm going to go Seattle on this one. I think Tyler Lockett is the most overlooked receiver in the league, and I just think his ability to just get out deep and just surprise people and get past people and score is insane. I think what it's going to come down to for me is just the quarterback matchup, and I think Russ is just a little bit better than Jimmy. It's going to be a close game, though, like you said. But I'm going to take Seattle, though.
All right. I'm also going to go 49ers on this way.
All right.
They're at home. These last couple of weeks, Seattle, it looks a little unstable to me. I'm not quite convinced. And in this division, I mean, that's a tough division to come out of. And I mean, this is basically kind of a make or break game here, I think, for the Seahawks if they want to stay in any sort of contention. But I just don't know if they have it in them. I know the 49ers, I picked them last week and they let me down, but it was close. It was close enough that I still have that faith. I mean, they can launch it with the best of them, though. The Packers defense, it's not quite elite by any stretch, but
stuff like that's why I'm nervous.
Leo with me at least? Do I have Leo with me at least?
Yeah, he picked the Seahawks, I think.
There you go.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm nervous because it's like, yes, Jimmy G, because but at the same time, like, how much is Trey Lance going to be involved? Like, could they throw in Trey Lance once or twice? Because that's how they scored a couple times in the past this season. But I mean, I guess I'll just stick with the 49ers at least. So keep it 50-50 amongst the four.
Perfect.
It'll be a close game, chirping critics. It'll be a close game.
Then we have the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Green Bay Packers. Tyler?
Well, I picked the Steelers last week because I thought they were going to. Well, there was a couple of factors. I thought TJ Watt was going to play, and that didn't happen. So that was a big miss for me because we picked so early in the week, and he was officially out the day before the game. I feel like he's still going to be injured. The whole Steelers team right now just isn't playing that well. It just seems like they're really out of sync, and Big Ben is just showing his age, especially more so now. I feel like the Packers are just the better team right now. I think that week one demolishing from the Saints really lit a fire under them, and they've just been pretty great ever since. The same old Packers that we were expecting going into the season. So I think that the Packers are going to pull that one off.
All right, Cody.
Yeah, old Big Ben limping around out there.
Literally.
You got Deontay Johnson banged up. Juju's banged up now. Yeah, I think TJ Watt uncertain. I think the Packers will. I'm going with the Packers on this one.
Yeah, I think it's getting easier and easier. I really think that Ben is killing his team a little bit. He's really dragging the Steelers down overall.
That's very true.
And their defense has not played up to advertisement, what I think a lot of people was expecting from the Steelers defense this season. It just, I don't know what's going on over there, but it ain't looking pretty currently. So yeah, no, Ben, I've been trying to tell you, go to that damn retirement home, please.
I think after this week, you guys play the Steelers. So,
oh yeah, we have back-to-back northern.
If you guys want to take him out, be my guest.
Well, we saw he literally cannot move. If you ask him to run, it is a complete and total disaster. So hopefully we can blow that offensive line up and slam him down a few times for you, Tyler.
I can only hope. We don't play them for at least the middle towards the end of the season, so we still have a ways to go before we play the Steelers.
Well, then, speaking of, we have the Baltimore Ravens at the Denver Broncos. I think we know where two of us are going to go, but let's make it official, Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, I've been making comments the last several weeks about how easy the Broncos schedule has been. And it's not just me harping on you guys just because I'm a Ravens fan. Like, statistically, you look at the stats, the strength of schedule, they've had the worst strength of schedule, like 32nd in the league, which means that they have had the easiest schedule because all three teams they played were awful. The Giants, the Jaguars, the Jets, all three of them are terrible. The last two were literally the worst two teams in the league last year. The Giants were basically fringe top 12. So this is definitely going to be the test for if the Broncos are legit or not, as far as the 3-0 teams. Like, are they a contender? Are they a pretender? I think that we have the weapons. We're getting a lot of our defensive people back from the COVID list. We're getting healthy when it comes to the offense, as far as Bateman's coming back and Miles Boykin are coming back off the injured reserve. I think that's going to help out a lot, especially because these people are coming back, so we don't have to just rely on Marquise Brown, flip a coin if he catches the ball or not. I think that it'll be tough for the defense for Denver to actually stop Lamar Jackson if he wants to do what he wants to do, especially with the fact that Chubb is not playing on one side. So it's going to be probably a lot of doubling on Von Miller. I think that the fact that the injuries have been piling up for the offense in Denver is also going to be a big indicator. I mean, Sutton is there. I guess Tim Patrick at least has some promise because, but you don't have Hamler. He was like your deep threat, so there's no deep threats really. You don't have Jerry Jeudy, so it's just going to be probably a lot of doubling Cortland Sutton.
How's Noah Fant been doing?
Larry can answer that, I suppose. That's your team.
How's Noah Fant been doing?
Not much.
That's all I needed to hear.
Right. So I think it just because of the history of the last several weeks, I think it's going to probably go down to the end of the game. But I do think that the Ravens are going to come out on top. I mean, even if Justin Tucker has to kick like 100-yard field goal, we'll see. But I think the Ravens have the edge. I think it'll be a close game, though.
All right. Obviously, I'm going to go on the other side for this one, and I'm going to stick with the home team, the Denver Broncos, in this game. Surprise, surprise. I think our defense is definitely looking strong right now. Because I think
the teams you're playing are
so
not very
far, I think we've done exactly what you want to do. Is yes, we haven't played the best of teams, but we have handled them all fairly easily. They have been solid, not exciting wins. We shut down the Jets completely, thankfully.
good. It's the Jets.
The Ravens, however, had to pull off a miracle to get by the 5-11 Lions from last season. So I'm just
But
saying.
we also
I'm just
defeated the
saying.
Chiefs, who the Denver has never beaten Mahomes ever.
Yeah, but they also play interdivision rivalries a little bit differently. So I'm just gonna say that as well.
They have never defeated Patrick Mahomes once.
But
He
the
is
Ravens are
7-0.
not the Chiefs. So thankfully for us, the Ravens are not the Chiefs. They play quite differently. So we're okay. Again, hopefully the Broncos watch game footage and come prepared for Lamar to run, because hello.
I mean, that's what
might be coming, but I think we can do it. I think I have faith in our defense. My biggest concern is our offensive line. I don't think Teddy Bridgewater he doesn't make big mistakes often. Like we said, even if he's throwing for like 10 yards, he's not going to turn the ball over a million times. It's just not what he does. It's not what he's known for. But I'm scared our offensive line, they haven't been able to protect him as well, even against not great defensive lines, as I would like. So this week is going to be a struggle, I think, for Teddy Bridgewater. He's gonna have to move a lot, because that O line is not protecting well. So I also think it's gonna be quite a game. It's gonna be an exciting game. Hopefully, well, it's Baltimore. That's all they know how to play is exciting games. So whether win or lose, it's definitely gonna be our most challenging and exciting game to the season. But obviously, I have faith that we're going to come out with our fourth victory. So Cody.
All I'm saying is there's been we're in year 3, I guess, technically, of Lamar Jackson, and people can't stop him to a degree. So I think it's going to be tough.
Somebody's going to have to do it. Maybe we'll just have to take his legs out. Maybe
I'm just saying,
take him out the game.
He's playing just as good as your quarterback and better than your rushing. So he's a dual threat for a reason.
I mean, one of our quarterbacks has a 77 and one has a 53. So I don't know about that. But
Lamar Jackson has an MVP. So he has that on his resume. And the interceptions.
We're talking about 2021. We're talking about 2021 right now.
Well, still. Terry Bridgewater has played the Jets, the Giants, and
Teddy
the Jaguars.
Bridgewater with the Vikings did take them all the way to the NFC Championship. So
in the very first season, let's look at if we're talking about the past. We're talking about the past. We're talking about all of the other years he played. He has not been that great.
I mean, Tyler he wants to talk smack, Cody. So we got to talk a little bit smack. You got to talk that little bit smack.
Well, I just don't think it's very fair. It's very obvious Lamar Jackson is the better quarterback all around than Teddy Bridgewater.
I'll be back.
I think y'all are a little bit rude to Teddy. Tyler hates Teddy Bridgewater. He's been ragging on him since the first one in Locke.
I think he's okay.
If Locke came back in, y'all would get about 4 interceptions in the game. So that it would probably be a blowout if Locke was our quarterback.
Terry Bridgewater
would probably murder us.
If you look at Terry Bridgewater's stats, he has thrown a lot of interceptions as well.
Are you saying Terry or Teddy?
Teddy Bridgewater.
Teddy, we got faith in you, Teddy. We have faith this season.
See, let me pull up Teddy Bridgewater's stats here. Since we're going to talk about.
Yes.
How are you going this? Because you are the unbiased party here.
I am. Yes. So we got one for one team, one for the other. I gotta make it what I think it's gonna be. So I do have to agree with Tyler in the sense that the Broncos have not played the toughest teams. I mean, it's just I do have to say that. I will say, though, with Larry making a great point, the Ravens being so close against the Lions is a little questionable. But what I think it comes down to is Lamar Jackson's ability to be a dual threat, I think, will give the Ravens the edge to win this game. I'm sorry, Larry. Okay, I think that'll give them the edge. And, if things get, tight towards the end, you can just bring in Justin Tucker and he'll kick a 90-yard field goal. So
Yeah, I pulled up Teddy Bridgewater's stats officially. 14 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 14 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. And then he, of course, had the injury where he didn't play very much for many years. Then he had a good season when he was the backup for those couple of years. Nine touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And then he went to Carolina, threw 15 touchdowns, 11 picks. So he has also had quite a bit of turnovers in his career.
But it's not like Locke, who literally was like 35-35. Like,
well,
Locke
the
was
Broncos,
an interception machine.
The Broncos have not had good luck since Peyton Manning, as we've obviously seen.
Like I said, you got to let us have our little 3-0. This is our first anything to celebrate since Peyton Manning retired. We have not even been back to the damn playoffs since Peyton Manning won us that Super Bowl. Well, really, our defense won.
It was definitely the defense.
Peyton was just there. But
you had to like drag him onto the field, the corpse of Peyton Manning that year to win him that Super Bowl.
Critics hates both of our teams though, so there's that. Tyler says Broncos need to jump into a lake, and Ravens can't even screw in a light bulb. So Chirping Critics hates us all. A Chiefs fan though, clearly. So there you go. That's where the bitterment comes from. And yes, we haven't beaten Mahomes, but Chiefs fans, don't forget that before Mahomes, the Broncos dominated the Chiefs, and we still have more Super Bowl wins. So I just want to put that out there.
They've also lost
the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, we've also been to the Super Bowl more than almost all the other teams. So
I would rather go less and win more, but that's just me.
I mean, John Elway's a Hall of Fame quarterback for a reason, and that was because he took us to and lost all those Super Bowls before finally winning the back-to-back ones. So,
this is fun.
Right. Yeah, I mean, when people be coming for my team, I've got to defend them at least to a point. Tyler liked to get gutter with his Broncos team this year, so I got to get in the action.
I'm just saying, I was talking as far as the Broncos go. They've had good years, they've had bad years, but I feel like I would rather go less and win them than go more and then lose them.
That's what I'd expect a baby team to say. We've been around for so damn long. Of course, we're going to have horrible times, too. So
I mean, I can't help the fact that we've won 2 Super Bowls in less than 3 decades.
So then let's get to good old Cody, and his also very old team in the New England Patriots, who this week are hosting Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Ooh, what a game!
Of course, they scheduled that for Sunday night primetime football.
I think it's been hilarious, the Hello Adele ads that they've been running for Tom Brady returning.
It's everywhere. Oh my god!
Like whoever thought that up.
Well, Cody, do you have faith that they can hold off Brady this weekend?
I'm going first. Oh, man. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Oh, no.
I love my Patriots. I really, really do. But I really I'm going to let this week pass. If they lose, the Patriots, I'm okay with it because actually, would I be okay with it? Tom Brady's coming back. 20 years of nothing but greatness that he brought for us. Rob Gronkowski's coming back, which is going to be special. And clearly they're the better team, the Bucs. I know they are. Tom Brady's going to probably want to destroy us, and that's fine. Do it. But I just want to see him there and just take that game in. It's going to be so special, but the Bucs are winning the game.
All right. Tyler?
Yeah, I'm excited for the game just for the homecoming aspect. Those games are always fun to me when someone who's been on a team for many years goes somewhere and then returns. I guess the most recent time I could think of where that's happened was when Brett Favre went back to Lambeau when he was on the Vikings. Yeah. That was pretty fun. But yeah, I think the Buccaneers are going to want to go in there and murder the Patriots. Not only just the fact that Tom Brady wants to just show off and beat up his old coach of many years, and the fact that he probably knows the team very well. They have so many weapons on offense. Gronk and Antonio Brown, I think, is coming back this week too. Yes. And the fact they have Evans and Godwin and, Leonard Fournette. Like I said, it's just too many weapons. And the defense hasn't been great. I doubt that Richard Sherman will actually play, because he did get signed just today but I don't think he'll play. I think
No.
that won't be a factor. But they do have a really bad defense, so that's why they need Richard Sherman. I think that the Buccaneers are going to probably go in there and try and steamroll. I don't know if they will. I hope it's a good game at the very least, but I think it just makes sense to go with the Buccaneers here. Unfortunately,
I'm hoping the Patriots just put up points. I'm really hoping they just put up points because I think the Bucs secondary too isn't the greatest.
I think they're actually worst in the league. That's why they signed Sherman.
Make it somewhat enjoyable for me at least.
Yeah, I also pick the Buccaneers. Patriots, they're in rebuilding mode after bottoming out a little bit after the Brady era. The interview with some of these interviews with coaches make me laugh because homie Darth Sidious himself. Belichick. His post-game interview this past week was a little bit entertaining to me. He was a little bit shook. I don't know that he knows what to do right now, but yeah, I think Brady is just gonna light up.
You should have heard him today, though. He was buttering up Brady.
Well, I mean, I'm sure he's obviously, it's football. So even when you have to
psychological warfare is real.
Yeah. Well, then we have an AFC West showdown for Monday Night Football. We have the also undefeated Las Vegas Raiders heading into LA to face the Chargers.
Great primetime games.
Yeah. Well, the Raiders are similar to the Ravens in this sense. One of them was against each other. They are just constantly playing really close games. They've already had to squeak out 2 overtime wins so far this season in crazy fashion. And the Chargers were probably robbed by the refs of having a 3-0 start right now. But I mean, that's against the Cowboys, who have been great. They've played great. They looked wonderful against the Chiefs this week. So who do we got in this showdown, Cody?
Another great game. It's going to be fun. 2 high-powered offenses for sure when it comes to Derek Carr leading the league in yards and Justin Herbert, slow starts of the year, but he'll definitely pick things up. I think looking at both teams, I think the Chargers are the better team, I think. And I'm going to take the Chargers to win this game. I think when it comes down to it, I don't know if the Raiders have played the most talented groups of teams, whereas I think the Chargers have had more impressive wins this year. So I will take the Chargers.
Okay, Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with what Cody said, but I think I have to go with the Raiders here. I think that it's going to be a great game just because it is a division rivalry and both of the teams are so strong. I think that the Raiders have, we've seen the offense here. I think they can pull out another win. It is in LA, but let's be real. It's going to probably be a home game for the Raiders because it's the Chargers.
Especially playing that close, to Oakland. I'm sure them old Oakland fans going to work their way up to LA.
I expect there to be a large black and gold audience for that one because the Raiders travel. Like, they have a very loyal fan base. Yeah. And the Raiders have pulled out a lot of wins. I think that they got another one in them. If it goes to overtime again, that would be hilarious if they just keep going to overtime. But I think it'll be a good game, but I think inevitably the Raiders will end up on top there.
All right.
So you have the Rams and the Raiders being the only 4-0 teams.
Yeah.
Well, I am also going to go with the Chargers on this one. I don't know if the Raiders can pull it off yet again. I agree with Cody in the sense that I think as an overall team, the Chargers are just more solid up and down. Granted, if Derek Carr, we've already seen, if he gets rolling, those yards are just going to start stacking up because he can work that yard magic. And I don't think that it will be a shock if the Raiders win this. But this is like a battle. If the Chargers do win this, they're already 2-0 in our division. And looking quite tough, but I just think that they're gonna hold off the Raiders on this one. So those were our picks. Now we do have a special guest who asked to be brought up onto the stream. He's been in the chat as well. So let's see what Eddie, also known as Network 98, has to say when it comes to sports talk. Hi, Eddie.
Hi.
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 How are
Hello.
you?
Hello.
How are you?
So what's up, guys? First time here.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for coming on.
So we're talking about sports. Okay, so what are we on?
We're on football, so we're talking about the Raiders and the Chargers.
I haven't seen a Raiders or Chargers game in forever.
Who's your team, Eddie?
Who's my team?
Do you have a team?
Well, not really.
No.
Well, what qualifies?
Pick the Ravens.
Well, that's
Just any NFL team. Do you have a favorite
Okay.
NFL team?
so. I guess since I have to go with this, since I live in Georgia, then the Bulldogs.
Oh,
George
okay,
Bulldogs.
Bulldogs.
All right, that's fine. We'll go
Yeah.
with ignoring the Falcons. That
I
works.
think that's
The Falcons suck.
yeah. The
Exactly.
Falcons.
All right.
Matt Ryan.
I would pick the Bulldogs too.
Matt Ryan's, I guess, decent. but
Honestly,
still.
I think the Bulldogs could take the.
Wait, what do you think of Matt Ryan, Larry?
Matty Ice, Matt Ryan.
He's okay, but honestly, when it comes to winning, he's not good at winning because he usually fails because he's kind of slow. Hey Cody, remember? Hey Cody, how many times have I asked you about Javier?
Too many times. But, you can thank your Falcons for my Super Bowl win that year. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da.
There you go.
Well,
Also,
to get in, yes, sorry.
also hi Ryan in the chat. And okay, yeah, what was I saying? So
Yeah.
wait, Cody, when's
So-
the next stream with that you're on Ryan's channel for
I am not
Ryan?
sure. That's
Yeah,
a
'cause-
great question. I am not sure.
Okay, so what questions will I ask?
Probably some questions about Javier. That's for sure.
What about you,
Won't be
Larry?
surprised.
Wow.
Oh yeah, the fast food cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Yep. You love fast foods.
Yeah, because the Greasies, as I came up with the fast
Yeah.
food team up, starring Ronald McDonald, the Burger King, Colonel Sanders, and Starbuck.
Well, do Tyler or Cody or our little guest Eddie, do you know anything about golf?
Nope.
Since Chirping
only-
Critics
the only-
popped up in here.
The only
I know
current
that.
the only golf player I know of as of now, is Tiger Woods. So that's really it.
Yeah, I think we all
Tiger
know. If you don't
Woods.
know Tiger Woods, obviously you've probably been living under a rock for the past
Bill Mickelson,
2 decades. Bill
Yeah.
Mickelson.
Arnold Palmer. I'm a big
Arnold
fan of his
Palmer.
team.
Wait,
know a little bit.
what did you guys talk about with basketball?
We have not
talked any
talked about
basketball.
basketball.
It's the off season, baby.
Yeah. So, wait, hold up. Let me look at the
So
chat.
yeah, unfortunately, Chirping Critic, that is one of the sports. If you had gone for the other rich white person sport, I could have given you a little bit more insight because I follow tennis, very very closely, but I don't follow golf quite as much. Sorry,
Hold up,
church.
hold up,
Chirping.
BRB. I'll be right back.
Okay. Tiger, obviously he's the GOAT when it comes to that. He had his, his problems in his personal life, which were very publicly displayed. But obviously he had that comeback. He had that comeback major win after his injury. So, it is what it is with Tiger
Yeah.
Woods.
As far as golf goes, like I said, Phil Mickelson, Tiger Woods. I know Arnold Palmer mainly because I drink a lot of his tea. Otherwise, that's about it for me, golf wise.
Roy and
I'm hoping
Mason.
Tiger comes back. That's all.
I didn't know he
Yeah.
was gone, let alone back.
He got into a car accident. He got into a car
Oh.
accident.
Another one?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think it was just the one most recent.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. So golf, it's interesting. And then with bowling, bowling is fun. I have never watched a professional bowling match in my entire life.
Neither have
So
I. I
I
didn't know
haven't
there was
either.
professional bowling.
Nope.
I have to tell you that as well, Chirping. I'm sorry. I know we like to bring up all the sports here, but you
It says
happen
sports talk, so
you happen to bring up two of the sports that I'm pretty sure we know the least about. If you brought up even other motors like sports, F1, I know a bit about that, not as much as NASCAR.
yeah.
Obviously,
MMA,
we
boxing.
will be MMA and boxing. We will be getting more into hockey because I will be bringing up hockey, even if it is just like I bring up NASCAR at the beginning. I'll be talking a little bit about hockey.
Hey, back.
Hi, welcome back, Eddie. And as you said about basketball, as soon as we get into the regular season, at least when it comes to the NBA, we'll definitely be going over them as well. College.
The Nuggets. You can talk about the Nuggets, Larry. They just
Oh,
backed up the Brinks truck to Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, obviously, as a Nuggets fan, Michael Porter, I don't understand.
Oh yeah, he just signed that contract, right?
He's not
207
clutch
million, baby.
at all. Like, talk about a non-clutch player, and then he comes out talking all of this craziness about the damn vaccine. Like, what's going on?
Who?
What is going on? I don't know. Michael Porter Jr. But he
Nuggets player.
just got paid $207 million in his contract. So
Not
that's
bad.
what happens when you're living that baller life.
Hey guys.
Oh, chirping.
Hey guys, I'm hot.
Oh, so let's see. Chirping Critic says top 5 favorite cricket players. Chirping, you're really going into
Digging
those
deep.
Obscure sports here.
Also,
they're
chirping.
obscure. We don't live in England, so cricket or India.
Wait, also, hey, critics. Wait, hold up. He has another. Why? I'm not. I'm eating a freaking bar.
Oh, I see. I think it was just messing with you, network. Chirpy Critics, yeah, no, cricket is not a thing here in the US, really.
No.
Really pay attention.
Not that I'm aware of, at least.
No.
Hey guys, I'm gonna show. Wait, guys, wait.
Yes. What's that?
Yes.
No. Oh my. Okay. Sorry.
What are you gonna? Oh, wait. What you gonna play, Eddie? It better not be nothing crazy. I'll boot you out this stream.
You're gonna
so
get
quick,
copyright
Eddie.
claim, Larry. Enjoy.
Don't play nothing crazy, Eddie. You'll get. Okay. That's okay. Oh, you are American, and you do love the Chiefs. We have definitely.
Wait, no, I didn't.
that
Wait, no, I
tonight.
didn't do that right. Let me do this
Critics.
again. Hold on. Let me do. Wait, no, I didn't finish that.
Okay. Oh. Okay. All right. Well, I
Wait,
think
have you seen that video.
I have not seen the video. I'm sorry.
It's been like it was a meme back in like 2016.
Yeah, I'm not into memes, unfortunately.
Wait, also,
memes are not my thing.
wait, was 2016 one of the worst years in your opinion?
Well, compared to last year.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2020 and
2020
even
is the
most
worst
of
year, I believe.
2021.
Of the 14 years of my life, that is easily the worst.
It doesn't get better.
Well,
Yeah,
2016 also, since we're talking about sports, 2016 was not the worst because
No hope.
That's when the Broncos were winning Super Bowls. So
Also,
I was
and yes,
okay
and
then.
yes, I'm a youngling here.
Yeah. Well, thanks for stopping in. It was fun talking to you. I think that about wraps it up for our episode 3 discussion of all things sports and specifically the NFL. Thanks, Eddie, for hopping on the stream. It was nice to meet you, see your face.
Good seeing you.
And of course, Cody, thank you so much for guesting. We'll definitely have you back on throughout the season.
Would love to.
Wait, can
I'm sorry?
Wait, can I give
yes,
links to like my stuff?
Yeah, sure. Shout out your channel.
All right, so subscribe to my channel over on Network 98. I don't upload, but
All right, cool.
And you can follow me on Twitch. I do live streams like a lot, and I'll be doing my episode 2 of the Network 98 show tomorrow. And if you guys want to join, if anyone wants to join in, just go to my Facebook at Eddie Briggs, and yeah.
What do you stream
Alright,
on there?
Awesome.
What do I stream on there?
Yeah, you said you stream. I was like wondering what do you stream on Twitch?
So currently, speaking of Javier, Cody, yeah, I'm playing through the Walking Dead games.
Oh, okay.
And I know there was one. I know after replaying that one personal disagreement. I don't know why, but I actually liked 3 better than 2.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So if you have
sorry,
Twitch, if you
Cody.
participate over there, make sure to head on over to Network 98.
Mommy, the Twitch name is Mickey Mo.
Mickey Mo. Perfect. And Cody, where can people find you? I know that you don't have your own channel, but you do a lot of work and in front of the camera work sometimes over on Ryan's channel. But where can people find you?
Yeah. I mean, you guys can follow me on Twitter if you want, Cody_O'Toole. I post some of my movie thoughts there and some sports stuff too. And then, I edit for my brother Ryan on his YouTube channel, just Ryan O'Toole. Go check that out. Guys, thanks for having me. It was a blast, and I'll definitely be tuning in and would love to be back.
All right. And Tyler?
Well, you can find me here talking about sports. I do reactions for Game of Thrones with Larry here, and also Daredevil and some other stuff that we have planned along the way. Maybe, we'll see. But also you can find me over on my own channel where I do reviews, reactions, and rankings and all that stuff. We have a lot of stuff coming up very soon in the very near future between, I guess, Halloween-related stuff, because that is the season that I most enjoy. But you can also find me on Twitter and Instagram at Tyler Calvert, where I talk about movies as well and sports and pretty much everything in between.
Perfect. And of course, if you did enjoy this stream, make sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel so that you are notified every time we go live each week for sports talk, as well as any other live, and so that you are notified about each and every one of my new videos. I love you all so much for your continued support. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.